Propulsion Lab at Devoxx France 2024, coming live from you to you from Paris. And my next guest is Margarita. Welcome.
Hello.
It's great to have you here. The very dear friend, very known, well-known speaker, and Margarita, you're with Sonar.
Yes.
And it's very, very relevant to Build Propulsion Lab because we're all about productivity. And my feeling is that Sonar Source is a company that is in the same field of developer productivity. But you know what? When I asked you if you want to talk about developer productivity, I said, how about talking about developer unproductivity? So let's start with that. What do you mean by that?
Thanks, Baruch, for the introduction. Yeah, indeed, I agree that we are on the same sort of area, and that code quality analysis is also for developer productivity, because the better the quality of your code is, the better the software and the more productive you are when your code is more maintainable. And what I'm talking about, it's mostly there are cases when for some reason people enforce some rules which are not mandatory, but because they have strict rules in Sonar Cube or Sonar Cloud, they make developers unproductive. For example, let's take code coverage. Code coverage is an amazing metric. I love it, and in my life, it helped me a lot to find some uncovered branches and actually to find some bugs. What's not right? When people say that code coverage should be 95% and fail all the builds, you cannot release, you cannot merge to master, when it's lower than 95%. And it goes to developer unproductivity, because developers have to trick it to somehow introduce unmaintainable code and
just to beat this
yes, just
this
to
stupid
fight the
method.
coverage.
Yeah, and it's what's the name of the law that when the metric becomes an objective, it ceases to be a good metric? Forgot. Okay, never mind. What I wanted to say, yeah, no, that makes sense. My question is, obviously, good intentions, right?
Yes.
We assume good intentions, that no one does it to hurt other developers and to make sure that they are unproductive. So, assuming good intentions, it's probably something that we need to help to prevent. Is there any way to find those rules or those metrics which were intended to do good but actually harm, and then somehow prevent or at least alert that you're doing something that, yeah, we know that you assume that will be helping developers, but it actually hurt them?
Yeah, that's a tough question, because that's actually what we are trying to do in our company, in our products. Currently we are rethinking the way how we report issues, because very often what SonarCube reports to you is always a violation issue. It's something that's wrong that you have to fix. But that's not true. Sometimes we want to report issues for you, just to let you know that you can go this way or that way, to say that it's nice to have or nice to fix, but that's not a problem. That's not a mistake. It should not fail your quality gate. So from our side, when we develop the rules, we should be very careful what message we send to you, whether this is an issue or whether this is just an info. For example, in IntelliJ, you have refactorings or different ways to do things that will be nice to know, but they should not affect your quality gates and so on. But that's still very difficult, and the difficulty is mostly in the attitude of our users who is using it, because people who come up with quality gates, who come up with all these rules, what should be the code style and which rules we enable, are most of sort of managers, and they don't actually understand the rule behind. They want just numbers.
Right.
They want
right.
zero issues. And that comes more of then we have an issue how much do we trust the developers, that if they still accept some issues, how much do we allow them to accept, what is okay, what is not okay. And this is, I think, a bigger question. If tools are not perfect, then we have to trust developers, because we cannot make tools that will be perfect and will be like a human and understand what's proper, what's not.
Yeah, so here, I think the problem is not necessarily that some rule should be a hard fail or just a recommendation. By the way, Goodhart's law, that's the
Oh yeah.
yeah. So the problem is not with the rules that you decide whether they should be a recommendation or a failure, but within the same rules, they can be used differently, sometimes for good and sometimes for evil, or even it might depend on the configuration and on the context. In some contexts, it will be good to have them as failures, and others they don't. And I wonder, when we talk about context, what in this day and age helps us to deal with the decisions that are content dependent is AI, is machine
Yes.
learning.
Yes.
Is this something that can help?
Maybe that's I had similar discussion with our products that probably everywhere when we cannot decide or we cannot like make machine decide, where everywhere where we need the human eye, it means that probably we can have AI there to help us decide. And just we are maybe thinking about this direction, dreaming, but we are not yet there to put it in place. But that's definitely something that might help.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Then you can learn on this particular project and get this more of the context that we are missing to make the right decision. And then the same tool can be maybe escalated to be a hard fail or de-escalated to be a recommendation, depends on the behavior in this particular context.
Yeah, and that's actually what we were like also designing, that one rule can report either a critical failure or a critical issue, or it could be just info and
Exactly.
within
Yep.
one rule, because it depends on the context.
Yeah, no, that
Yes.
will be very
Yes.
useful, and I guess this is something very interesting to look forward to. So keep an eye on what Sonar is doing, and you know what? Maybe from unproductivity to productivity, the path is there, and we just need more AI in our lives to make it better, as with everything else. Margarita, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And you will get more content from Margarita in our future episodes of the Build Propulsion Lab. And still here in Paris for Devoxx friends, we are ready with our next guest, and we'll see you right after that.